The theme for Youth Month 2021 is Evolve. We know that Jamaica's youth are innovative and revolutionary and are best placed to transform Jamaica from what it was pre-COVID to now into a better, new Jamaica. We have a jam-packed series of events this month where we expect young people from across the island to come out and make their voices heard, showing their evolutionary thinking and their evolutionary actions.
Evolve Youths of Jamaica. My name is Yannick Tracy, the co-chair of the Youth Advisory Council of Jamaica. Youths of our nation, let's evolve our mindset so we know that we can be the best versions of ourselves. We are the author and the finisher of our own success. So, if it's that new job you need to get, go get it. If it's to start a new business, just do it. If it's to further your own education, youths, let's make it happen. Let's strive to be great. Let's strive to evolve.
Hi Jamaica, my name is Daniel Jordan Bailey, representing the National Secondary Students Council as the Region 1 Assistant Vice President. For 2021's Youth Month, I want to see more inclusivity, youths from all walks of Jamaica engaging in virtual activities aimed at enhancing their purpose. Moreover, when I think of the word evolve, I think of metamorphosing, emerging from one stage to another while fulfilling your dream. This can be done by looking towards a certain passion or even fulfilling a certain goal. We can evolve.
Hello Jamaica, my name is Siobhan Smith. I am the General Secretary of the Jamaica Prefects Association. The Jamaica Prefects Association, or otherwise called the JPA, is the national governing body that represents prefects, including head students of secondary schools in Jamaica. We aim to have prefects understand their roles as well as foster exemplary leadership qualities while tending to their needs and concerns. This year's Youth Month theme is Evolve, which simply means to gradually improve and become better. I implore you all to grow and evolve in your own right and shine in your own light. Happy Youth Month, Jamaica. Stay safe.
Growing up, we would have been told that the only thing in life that is constant is change. And for that reason, I am particularly impressed that the theme for this month is Evolve. If we are to cope with the realities that we're now facing, we must evolve.
My name is Nevada Green. I'm a part of the National Youth Council of Jamaica. The NYCJ is the umbrella organization for all youth clubs across Jamaica, which seeks to promote youth participation in all community levels and advocate for youth participation in all levels of governance. We here at the NYCJ will be doing for our Youth Month our annual general meeting, which involves all community-based organizations and all parish executives, where we come together with our problems and find solutions for them. What we want for this Youth Month is for us all to evolve. We are called to evolve this Youth Month regardless of what challenges the COVID-19 pandemic presents us with. So we're going to press through to ensure that all youth voices are heard this month.
Hello youths of Jamaica. I am Orville Levy, co-chairperson of the Youth Advisory Council of Jamaica. Youth Month theme 2021, Evolve. One word with such powerful roots that if we water it, it can blossom our collective futures. As a council, we have been working to mainstream youth issues into youth policies and ensuring every youth has a voice through our youth parliamentarians. We are at a pivotal time in our lives. This is your opportunity. Take the moment. Your evolution begins today.
We're asking young people for Youth Month 2021, you need to participate. Come and show us your evolved thinking, your revolutionary ideas, and your innovative actions. Let us demonstrate to the rest of the country that Jamaica's youth are evolved and can make Jamaica better than what it was before COVID. Young people of Jamaica, let us evolve.
Good afternoon and welcome to our viewers on Facebook and also on YouTube. This is another stop on the calendar of activities for Youth Month 2021. We're certainly happy that you've taken the time to join us this afternoon. We are looking at investment and youth, and it's the proven edition. But before we get into the meat of the matter and talk all things investment, we're going to look a little bit on Youth Month. By now, you should know that Youth Month is celebrated in November every year. And that's when we big up all the achievements of our young people right across the island. That's when we pause to put a spotlight on them and the number of activities that they are doing. I want to say thanks to all the partners and sponsors that we've had come on board to help us with making this a reality. We certainly have to thank the hardworking team at the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. It's like Christmas at the ministry for them because they're running around getting everything in order to make sure that you, our viewers and our youth stakeholders, are pleased with the activities and the events that's put on right through the month. We certainly also want to say a big thanks to the Ministry of Gender, Entertainment, Culture and Sports for their sponsorship as well. And we want to say a big thanks to Proven, Heart Trust NSTA, and also Path. So we're going to get started with the activities, and joining me on set is the Honorable Robert Nesta Morgan, the leader of this ship that is sailing right through November, and I know we have big things in store. And we're going to ask him first up, the theme, Evolve Minister. Why that theme?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me. I want to say that I'm not the leader, I'm the cheerleader.
Cheerleader, no problem, very humble.
The young people are the ones leading it. They're the ones who have come up with a majority of the ideas. They're the ones organizing it. I'm just sitting and watching in amazement.
And I'm sure you must be amazed because the things that I've seen so far have been really excellent, and we are just at day 3.
I'm really looking forward to the events. I'm really looking forward to the engagement. Young people from all across the island have been calling and expressing their satisfaction with how we have started and wanting to participate. You ask about Evolve. I think when Corona hit, young people in Jamaica had to really rethink their position within the society. They got disconnected from the education system. A lot of them could not see their friends. A lot of them could not do extracurricular activities, especially children, but also teenagers and persons who would have left university and were seeking jobs were now finding themselves looking at a good job market, and then all of a sudden the job market has been closed down. So they had to really rethink their position within the society. So now that we're moving outside of Corona, we have to now start taking advantage of the opportunities that have come because of Corona, and also recognize some of the opportunities that we missed before. So we have to evolve our thinking in how we approach life to take advantage of a new world, because the world has changed.
Definitely. And I was wondering how is it that the ministry is going to top their theme last year, which was Rethink. And I'm really happy that, you know, the young people came up with this, because I think it's time for them to evolve in their thinking and so on. And the logo is quite fitting as well. You know, young people reaching for the stars and aiming for big things.
They created it.
Yeah, they created it. All right. So that's great stuff. So, Minister, if you tell us a little bit about what are some of the activities that's planned for our young people throughout this month. What are some of those stops that we're having as we roll on down through November?
So one of the big items, which is not really one item, it stretches all across the calendar, is the Heart Trust NSTA around the table discussions.
Gotcha.
I mean, every year we have these forums and seminars where young people can come to the table, they can present their ideas, and they can listen to other persons who are maybe experts in industry, who can guide them about particular things within the society. And they have really robust discussions about trending topical issues within the society and issues that affect young people. And Heart has been very good to come on board with us this year in a big way. And they're a big sponsor of Youth Month 2021.
Boom.
And we really want to say appreciation to them for the work that they have been doing. On the 29th, I think, the 29th, we have the 12th sitting of the National Youth Parliament. Which is not, yes.
I think I was involved in probably the first or the second or somewhere way back, you know, many moves. But I'm very happy to see that we are now at number 12. And I know the young people have been doing tremendous things.
So this year, for this Youth Parliament, we've had a record amount of applications. I think we've had over 1,000 applications.
Wow.
It's the first we've had so many. And I think that is all because of the tremendous work that the young people did last year for last year's Youth Parliament.
Right.
Youth Advisory Council, our team here at the Youth and Adolescent Policy Division, or young people from all over Jamaica who came out. And remember, last year, we were in the midst of Corona. So it was a very difficult and challenging period. We had to reduce the numbers, social distancing and all of that. This year, we're trying to do it a little bit bigger than last year, while at the same time recognizing the issue with Corona. And this year, we're back to Parliament, right, which is important because, I mean, last year we were at Conference Center, and yes,
Not
Conference
quite
Center is nice, but that's not a Parliament.
Yes,
you know, the kids want to go to Parliament.
Definitely.
Now, one of the things I'm happy about as it relates to that is the projects that the young people are doing. They've been going around into constituencies. They have been doing projects in the communities. And I keep having to always speak about the one in my constituency, which is a project about period poverty.
I remember that.
And I don't think it's something that we talk about enough. I think there are a lot of young women out there who are having challenges, and it's not a sexy issue, for want of a better word.
Definitely.
And I'm happy that someone has actually decided to make that a project that they're doing. I think I also want to mention we also to have a cookout.
A cookout?
Yeah.
Oh, so is it you cooking against the young people?
I hear that I'm supposed to cook. I don't know. My opponents have not surfaced yet.
I get you.
I think they're afraid.
They're afraid. All right. But Minister, tell me, like what you plan to cook? Yeah, I mean, is it?
I'm a country.
That's what I was about to wonder. If it's some Kingston dish you're based here in Kingston for the ministry,
we're not cooking KFC.
Some rundown
food. Yes, some rundown.
So you're going to be grating the coconut from scratch?
We don't use powder coconut.
Sure.
We don't use powder coconut.
Well, we will be looking out for that, you know. We'll be looking out for that.
You can look out for a lot of these events. There are many events. You can go on my Facebook page. You can go on the ministry's Facebook page to check out the events. But the most important message for this Youth Month is to get involved. You cannot evolve if you don't get involved.
Quite so.
You understand? So I'm asking all young people. Let me look at them. I'm asking all young persons all across the island. This is your month. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Prime Minister's Youth Awards coming up in December. We've had a lot of applications this year. It's a really competitive crop this year. We're going through the shortlisting process.
You said December. We're pushing Youth Month all the way down to December.
We're trying to take the whole year.
Well, why not? Our young people are certainly deserving of it.
So I'm asking them to just participate, come out, listen to the seminars, participate in the seminars. We're looking out for you. You can't evolve unless you participate. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Minister, thank you so much for coming through. It's been a real pleasure. And I know we're going to be chatting some more as we roll on down throughout November. All the very best. And we're looking forward to the cookout, you know. Yeah, my money is on the young people still, but...
We're not sure if we have enough food still. But it will be great, and you'll be invited.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. Thank you so very much, Minister. Folks, you are tuned in to this Youth and Investment Forum, and you just heard from our Minister, the Honorable Robert Nesta Morgan, who gave us a rundown of some of the activities that we will be having in this Youth Month 2021. Now, we are talking investment, and we have a number of persons who are lined up to talk with us this afternoon. We have Miss Cherise Pinnock from Proven Investment, and she'll be walking us through a number of things investment. And then we also have the principal of the e-campus of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Yes, there is an e-campus for the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and we'll be hearing from Mr. Kevin Powell in just a little while. We also, to top things off, will be having a young person who is a young investor talking to us about how they got started and how things went. So we're going to throw to a video. Watch that video, and then when you're back, Miss Cherise Pinnock will join me here on set.
Positions entering Q4 by doing one of the following. Investors can reduce exposure to stocks that have values dependent on great future earnings, or they can rotate into sectors and companies that benefit from rising interest rates. I am Michael Price, and we are Proven.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And again, this is investment and youth. Why should young people get involved in investment? Is investment something for young folks? Is investment something for you, for me? Let's just talk a little bit about that. I invite you to jump on over to the Youth Jamaica Instagram and Facebook handles, even on Twitter, at Youth Jamaica, and join the conversation there. If you have questions, we have able assistants who will be watching the chat, monitoring the chat, and posing the question so that we can give the question, feed the question to our panelists. Joining me on set, as I promised, is Ms. Sharice Pinnock from Proven Wealth. Sharice, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dwayne.
Great, it's a pleasure. I hear you're the lady with all the information about investment. So we'll start easy and then slide the bar all the way up to some hard questions for our young persons. So the first thing I want to ask you is investment. When we hear about investment, what do we mean by that?
So investments is pretty much where you're okay, so it's pretty much working towards a future goal. So it may be primarily financial, which is pretty much what we'll be speaking about today. Is starting, we want to see it grow, so you're putting it in something that we're better able to see such returns as desired and to meet whatever goals that you might have.
Deal. Do you find a lot of young persons investing? What do you see out there, certainly from your standpoint at Proven Wealth?
We have a big mix. So we have more mature clients, and we also have newcomers, and just from every age and every stage you can think of, we have the clientele.
Deal. And I know one of the reasons why Proven has joined the ministry in having this as a part of Youth Month is to try to educate more young persons into getting started in investment. How do we get started in investment?
Absolutely. So to get started, you would first find a brokerage firm to start the process. So
brokerage firms sound heavy.
So pretty much that's investment company, right?
So I could go to one of the banks or come to Proven.
Absolutely, Proven, most definitely.
Definitely,
not all banks necessarily have a brokerage arm. So
Yes.
not all banks pretty much have an investment arm. Let's put it that way. So the general requirements tend to be ID, TRN, proof of address. Some may ask for pay slips or proof of income, and they have the requisite know your client forms.
Right.
So, that would ask it details as to what they're expecting from the investment, or even just basic information that we need to have in order to ensure that we're following regulation as well.
That's important. That's important. And when I talk to persons about investment, they seem to think that it's something for the elite or for the rich, and so on. I know you can start these investment things with as little as 1,000, 5,000. How much is it that a young person who is viewing would need to walk into Proven or one of these other financial institutions to say, I want to start an investment? How do I go about it?
Okay, so across the board, you can start as little as 5,000 Jamaican dollars.
5,000 Jamaican dollars.
At Proven Wealth, the minimum is 200,000 as it is right now. The persons are able to take part in different investments. Primarily, the stock market is more wide as it relates to starting. Different investments may have different minimums associated with it.
Right.
But as it is right now, the stock exchange, the minimum investment amount, you can buy as little as 1 unit of a stock. The amount you spend will be determined by the value of that one stock and the associated fees.
Right.
But yeah.
One. So you said stocks. What are some of the other investment vehicles that are out there?
So there are bonds, there are unit trusts, there are corporate notes, and there are also mutual funds.
Mutual funds. I remember the first time I went to one of these brokerage firm or investment houses. One of the first questions they asked me is, what's your risk appetite? What do they mean by that? I know what my food appetite is, but risk appetite? What's that?
So your risk appetite is pretty much a gauge to see how much risk you're willing to take. So they might ask a few questions like, if your portfolio was supposed to go down by, let's say, 50% in 1 week, how would you feel about that? Are you willing to ride it out? And if you are, more than likely you would be more of a high-risk person. If you are not about that life and prefer to gain $1 rather than lose a cent, then you'll be more on a lower risk. And then you have different levels to it as we go along. So it's very important in making your investment decision that you take into consideration your risk appetite, because at the end of the day, we want you to feel comfortable and also to ensure that you're well educated about what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned being well educated, because I know, at least for me, at least one of those stocks that I've gone after, it was because, you know, colleagues and friends of mine were going after it. So it sounded glamorous and so on. So I went with it. I didn't do much research myself. How important is it for us to read up, get some information about these things before we go off into it?
Extremely important, because at the end of the day, yes, persons may want to hop onto something based on what they're seeing on the outside, but there are so many things that may happen behind the curtain. So it's important to read it. It may not be as reader-friendly from the get-go, but usually when stocks are coming out, there are analysis done by the brokerage firms, so that makes it a little bit more palatable to understand. And also, not because somebody else is doing something means that it's up your alley, because they might be having different intentions than you are. So at the end of the day, you may not be as happy as they may end up being.
Quite right with that. You're very right with that, because right now I must tell you that they've jumped ship on that particular stock, and I'm there tearing my hair out. Well, I'm riding it out because I can't afford what I'm seeing there. So again, those are some of the things that, you know, when you're doing investment, people will say sometimes you have to be in it for the long haul. Right. I mean, is it something that I go in today and tomorrow I'm a millionaire? Just to gauge people's perspective on these investment vehicles.
So no, I'm not join today and tomorrow a millionaire, but what I will say is that I have seen cases where stocks have really escalated in short-term periods. However, that isn't the standpoint that we're going to take or recommend persons to go ahead with. It's recommended at least, let's say, 2 years, but different investments have different periods associated with it. So not only stocks, let's say a corporate note, it could be 12 months to 18 months based on the date that it will run for.
Got you. All right, so let's take it a little bit granular now. So let's say stocks. Give me an example of how a young person can, get stocks into a particular company. Do we have to wait until there is a IPO, initial public offer, or APO, the additional public offer? I mean, how do we get involved in it? So, for instance, there are a number of companies that are already out there. Is there an entry point there as well?
Right, so there are 2 points that you can enter the stock market, which is the IPO, which is the initial public offering, which is called the primary market. So that's the first time it's ever coming out. And then the secondary market is where it's trading now on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So you're still able to buy and sell the stock. And also, what was the other question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there are other ways that they can...
Those are the primary ways. So not because you may have missed an IPO means that you have missed out on an opportunity, but when the stock is actually listed, you can still try to get some.
Right. And they go about doing that through an advisor, or can they handle things by themselves?
So you need to go through a brokerage firm. However, different brokerage firms, for example, Proven, we allow our clients to trade on JTrader, which is a Jamaica Stock Exchange platform. So they're trading live with the market. So they're able to see their orders, see what is available, and be able to enter their order and have it done real time.
And so just like how I would check my balance in my bank account, is it as simple as checking, the number of stocks that you have, how is it doing, and so on? Is it simple, or do I need to have some
level of expertise? No. I find it to be very user friendly.
Okay.
And I highly recommend my clients to use it, because instead of me being the middleman to say, put up this order for me, they can see what happens, and they don't need to necessarily check in with me. So I feel like it's a win-win.
Got you. And one final question in this segment, we're jumping over, and then we'll come back to you with some more tough questions. I did promise you tough questions. But I remember one of the advice that I got when I was looking to start is save first, and then move some of the savings that you have that you don't have any immediate need for into investment. Why would they have suggested that? Can't I just go and pull some of the stocks that I have and you know, go and work out what I want to work out with that?
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because it depends on your objective.
Yes.
But once you're investing, I expect that you'd be investing for a little while. And the savings will be there to have some liquid funds. And you don't necessarily want to be pulling from your investment. And I understand that you will be investing for a particular purpose. But just in case something happens, you don't necessarily want to pull on that. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have your savings separate and excess have as investing. And also, it's important to have an emergency fund because we don't necessarily want something to happen and you have to pull on all your investments and then it ends up that you're liquidating at a loss.
Mm-hmm. Got you. I know I said it was the final question, but I have one more for you in the easy section. Just this whole thing of making sure that young people start early. This whole matter of compounding and making sure that over time, the little, just like how we have every little make a muckle.
Yes.
How does that play into this whole thing of investment?
All right. So how it plays in investing is that the beautiful thing about it is that you can start as young as 18 years, and minors as well can take part of the stock
18 years.
18, right?
Yes.
And minors can also be on an account that buy stocks. As long as they're on it with an adult, they just need to ensure that they have their TRN. And it's a great way I see for parents as well to be able to build up for when that time comes in life, probably university to assist with the expenses, and also for younger adults as well, looking to probably purchase their first car, home, whatever it may be. It's a good place to start.
Good. All right, Sharice, that's the easy section. We're going to jump to a video that talks about risk on or risk off. And then when I come back, Mr. Kevin Powell from the e-campus of the Jamaica Stock Exchange will be on.
Stock markets ebb and flow between times of heightened tolerance to risk and lessened tolerance to risk. In times where global economic risk is perceived as low, investors engage in higher risk investments, leading to a risk-on environment. When global economic risk is perceived as high, stock market investors are more risk-averse and tend to engage in lower risk investments, leading to a risk-off environment. Factors which influence the risk appetite of investors include corporate earnings, economic outlook, and central bank policy. Investors who have profited from the recovery during the risk-on period started in 2020 may rotate into risk-off positions entering Q4 by doing one of the following. Investors can reduce exposure to stocks that have values dependent on great future earnings, or they can rotate into sectors and companies that benefit from rising interest rates. I am Michael Price, and we are Proven.
Great. Thanks again for staying with us. And we're talking investment and youth. And before the break just now, Sharice was walking us through a number of ways in which young persons can get involved. Sharice is from Proven Wealth, and certainly if you want to start generating some wealth, link up Sharice. We're joined online by Mr. Kevin Powell, who is the principal at the e-campus of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Kevin, are you there?
I am here, Dwayne. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I know you are the person who will be helping us to get some information about education. How is it, and where can we find more information about this whole thing of stocks and trading and more on investment? How do we go about getting that? And probably tell persons about the e-campus because it's the first some people might be hearing about it.
Definitely. Thank you, Dwayne, for that. Certainly, listening to Sharice a while ago, it's very important that our young people understand that investments are important. And one of the ways in which we are going to, catapult our society into an investment society is, of course, through education, through training, through certifications, through just knowledge. And in an age where, you know, knowledge is democratized, we want to ensure too that our young people get good knowledge, you know, knowledge that is trusted, proven, and proven, knowledge
of course.
that bigger proven, knowledge that is accurate. And so what better place to come to that for that knowledge than the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and the educational arm of the Jamaica Stock Exchange is the eCampus. And so as you ask about where you can go to get information, certainly you visit our website at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE eCampus, and you'll be, you know, walk through a slew of our courses that we have on offer for young people, for older people, for whomever it is who's interested in investment and learning the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of investments. That's our mantra. That is our modus operandi here at the eCampus, to help people to understand stocks, to help people to understand the whole idea of trading. And of course, we are here to guide you along that path.
Definite. And so we know that education, training, and guidance is very big for our young people. And Sherese mentioned that the profile of clients that she deals with is not just youth, but they span the whole gamut. Sherese, in terms of education level that they come to you with, knowledge of trading and knowledge of stocks and so on, do you find that they know enough, or they still need more information? And Kevin, stay close because I'm coming right back to you.
Sure.
So I find that they know enough to start, but there is some room for improvement. So I help to guide them through it, show them additional resources that can help them in order to make the best of the opportunities out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's something that we ought to look at to see how we can get more information about, you know, investment on the corner. And I know the ministry is going on the corner. So as they go, I'm hoping Proven will be there to help them to talk about some of these investment things as they go. Kevin, are these courses, how are they accessed? What, you know, prerequisites do I need to have coming in?
All right, thank you. So of course, because of COVID, and even before COVID, we have been on the digital platform. We have been online. All of our courses are easy to access on our online platform. So you don't have to worry about rushing to the eCampus to come and do a class. You can sit your class in the comfort of your own home. Certainly, as it relates to prerequisites, there are different courses that we offer that have different prerequisites. But certainly, at the level that we're pitching today, you know, our students, our young people don't need to have any prerequisites if they want to learn about the ABCs of investments. They don't have to have any prerequisites if they want to learn about Caribbean securities and about securities in general, how to trade, how to use the JTrader platform, as was mentioned earlier. Those are some of the things that we also offer. Foreign exchange trading is also something I know a lot of young people are involved in today, and certainly come to the Jamaica Stock Exchange for, again, relevant, accurate, proven information about how to go about this part of the trading experience.
Yeah, and I know if you want good, your nose have to run, but give us a sense of some of these costings for courses and, you know, just what I would need to find. And if there are opportunities for any free courses that young people can avail themselves of to get started with this ABC of investment, as you mentioned.
Correct. So in terms of our costs, and I often say, you know, an investment in education pays big dividends.
Definitely.
So don't see this as a cost, see this as an investment and another kind of investment. Because you see what happens is that when you are armed with the knowledge, you can then go and become entrepreneurs of knowledge. And so see this also as an investment. But certainly our popular courses, especially the Caribbean securities, the FX trader course, those are pitched at $60,000 per course. And the courses usually run from 4 to 6 weeks in length. But there is opportunities for free webinars. The Jamaica Stock Exchange Marketing Department often has free webinars and seminars that are given and provided to students and young people about the ABCs of investment. So if you're not yet ready to invest in a full-fledged course, then certainly you can always stay tuned to the Jamaica Stock Exchange's social media pages, whenever we have those webinars, they're always advertised, and we always seek to reach out to our young people to provide them with this level of training.
Yeah, definitely, Kevin, and that's definitely something that we need our young persons to know more about, to be able to, get reliable, proven, and accurate information so that they can make smart decisions. That's certainly something that's big. In terms of the eCampus, how long has it been around, and what are some of the courses that might be, coming up at the eCampus?
Very good, very good. So the eCampus has been around since 2010. So we have been on the market space for a while. Yes. As you said, many people perhaps don't have a clue that we exist, but certainly we hope to change that in the coming year through more greater marketing efforts. But certainly one of the courses I'm very excited about talking to young people about for next year is a course in alternative investment. So there are certainly traditional investment mechanisms are available, but we also have a course in alternative investments, which include investing in real estate, investing, in solar energy, and all of these other things. Green bond. We're talking about climate change in the last couple of days, and certainly you can look out for next year on courses that look at green bonds and sustainable investment portfolios.
Definitely sounds like a whole exciting array of activities for our young persons to get involved in. And again, knowledge is power, knowledge is key, and those things are really, really critical. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us on that. Kevin mentioned, Sharice, housing and real estate as an investment tool. Is that something that you cover over there at Proven? Is that something that you talk to young people about as well?
So not outright purchasing real estate. We do have a proven real estate, proven REIT that persons are able to acquire properties through. But as it relates to proven wealth, we do have a real estate unit trust fund. And persons also use their investments in order to assist them in purchasing their homes.
Yeah, and I mean, our young persons are really creative. And Yaxter in his video said, turn grandma old house into an Airbnb. That's also some form of investment that can be happening. And not because it's a house not in Kingston, not in St. Andrew, it's somewhere. Maybe you have a unique feature that some persons from overseas might want to come and capitalize on. I actually saw on Airbnb a stay at a farm. Yes. So again, it don't have to be fancy or anything like that. Or young persons can certainly use their creativity and turn grandma little house into an Airbnb and get persons to come and spend that US dollar. And then we see how to turn it and add every little mickle, make a muckle, to get to where it is that we want to get with this investment. Kevin, before you run, is there anything else you want to leave with us? How it is that we can get in contact with the eCampus?
Sure. So please feel free to send us an email, jseecampus@jamstockx.com. That's jseecampus@jamstockx.com. Our telephone numbers are 967-3271, 967-3271. We invite you to call us. You visit us on our website too. Visit us on our website, Jamaica Stock Exchange website. We are there. The eCampus is there. And we'll be ready and available to speak to our young people about what they need to get going in terms of training.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And I know you're new in the position, but nobody would know before I said it just now, because the wealth of information.
Calabar old boy here, young man.
So okay, always prepared. Great, Kevin. Thank you so very much for that, and all the best at the eCampus there. We're going to take another break, jump to another video, and then when we come back, we will hear from a youth investor. Stay tuned.
If you had the option to choose $5 million today versus a magic dollar that doubles in value every day for 25 days, what would you choose? If you chose the magic dollar, on day 1, you'd have about $2. Fast forward to day 16, you're looking at about $65,000. Wishing you had chosen the $5 million, With a little more patience and persistence, on day 25, you would have accumulated $33.5 million. Now, in the financial sector, there is no magic dollar. However, the principle of compounding is illustrated perfectly in this scenario. The same principle can be applied to your retirement savings. A member who contributes when he starts working his first job will more likely get to a pension of 75% of his salary at retirement, versus a member who starts later in life. For the small investments you make today, remain focused, consistent, and patient. Compound interest will pay you later. I am Jordan Phillips, and we are proven.
Welcome back, and you are, in fact, tuned into the Investment and Youth Forum. We're talking all things investment, and we've heard so far from Ms. Sherase Pinnock from Proven Wealth, and also Mr. Kevin Powell, the principal at the E-Campus of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I would like to make mention that this is all possible with the support of our sponsors and partners. They've joined hands, hearts, and pockets to make this all possible. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, the Ministry of Gender, Culture, Entertainment and Sports, the Ministry of Entertainment, Heart, Path, Proven, JN, the DIA Lab, and the Institute of Law and Economics. We also have the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creations. Quite a mouthful, lots of partners coming together to make this possible. So we're talking investments, and you're hearing some, technical, textbook kinds of stuff. If you have questions, please, we invite you, drop it in the chat so that we can ask the experts. But right now, we want you to hear from someone who's been doing some sort of investment. Please make welcome Mr. Cristano Meredith. Cristano, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. Now, share with us your secret sauce. How you got started in investment, and how is it going?
Well, I don't really think it's a big secret. Most of the stuff is kind of like what Sherase was saying.
Yes.
You really have to start with a broker. So, found a broker after doing some research based on some stocks that I like. I went in, opened the account, and I just took it from there. So, step by step, I try to buy stuff like every month to add to my portfolio because I do have a long-term objective as well.
All right. So you've mentioned a couple of things that I want to unpack. So did you start with a lump sum? Because I heard you say monthly you add a little bit as you go along. Did you have to start with something big, or was it manageable?
No, and that's the best part. A lot of persons always seem to think, okay, because I try to encourage other persons as well within my age group, say, you should start investing, start early. Because they don't need this huge lump sum that you sit and think you need maybe a 200 or 500,000. You can start with a $10,000. Sometimes when they're having the IPOs, whatever the minimum is for the IPOs, you can open with that amount. So I started with a small balance, and just over time I've built it up based on doing my research. Look at what's happening in the market. If there's like any stock splits happening, I try to find out information about a company, speaking with my investment advisor, and I try to get those stocks as well in my portfolio.
Oh, excellent. So you're saying add a little bit every month and so on. Is it something that you've set up a standing order, or you went on and you go on every time and add to this particular portfolio? And when you're talking about stocks, do you pick? How do you know which ones to choose? What's the marker that you use when you sit with your broker to know which ones are good and which ones not to go after?
Look at well, I look at what's basically the research, as I said, on the company. I use the Jamaica Stock Exchange website a lot. So every time it's earnings season now, so a lot of financials will be going out. So I pull down, go on there, look at the financials for the companies, look at how they have been performing, if there's improved performance over last year. So I use that as a marker, and based on what's happening in the industry, if I think this is an industry that I see more growth in, then I might select that stock. In terms of the monthly amount, it's both actually. I recall Cherise speaking on unit trust as well as stocks. So for the stocks, that's done by myself. However, for like the unit trust, I set up the monthly contribution where it just go in every month from my bank account and it just purchases into the fund.
Excellent. And people will say, Mr. Meredith, where do I start? You know, and a big thing that we overlook sometimes is that there are things we're spending on now that maybe if we alter or cut back or change, we might be able to free up some funds that could go towards these things that you're talking about. Have you found that to be an effective strategy?
It is. I actually went through my finances, look through my account, and I look at areas where I might have been overspending, where I probably could cut back on some expenses, and I use that funds to now put in the market.
Yeah, excellent. And I really do think that that's something that young persons can take away. Oftentimes we go for the bling and overlook some of these things that, you know, in the future will be able to help us with those visions and long-term plans that we have. So you mentioned in the early part that you have a long-term vision for your investments. How long of a term are you talking about for yours? And, you know, when you sit with your broker, what do they advise you in this for a year, 5 years, 10 years? Give us some examples.
Generally 5 to 10 years. Actually don't have, so the funds that I invest actually have no like immediate plans or anything from it. I try to invest money that I don't think I would need in the short term. Because based on what I've seen and like read, the stock market, it can be very unpredictable.
Yes.
I've bought stocks before and, you know, next day the price come down. Trans Jamaica was probably a good example of that. The IPO, it was like right before the onset of COVID, and that kind of hit that stock. And I guess other persons were expecting a little bounce from it, but that didn't happen. So that's like one scenario where, you know, you can't really be sure of what exactly might happen, but just have to do the research and make the good selections. Indeed.
And you're speaking to someone who also feeling the effects of that particular IPO as well. I mean, I'm just having to remind myself that you're in it for the long haul.
That's true.
So remind myself about that. But I want to jump to Cherise because this matter of dividends that you spoke about and just mentioned in what it is that you're saying just now. Cherise, dividends, what's that? And is that something that young people can look forward to if they start some investment activity?
Absolutely. So dividends are pretty much a share of the net profit of the company based on the financials that they would have had for any period. So they may have a dividend policy that says a specific percentage of the net profit would be distributed as dividends between the shareholders. So it's just a lump sum in a sense, and they split it based on the ownership in the stock. So you may have seen, let's say, for example, a company said they're going to issue 10 cents per share. So if you have 2 shares, you're going to get 20 cents.
Gotcha. Excellent. And do you find that persons take that and go off and do other things, or you suggest to them that they reinvest some of that dividend money that they would have gotten?
I highly recommend that they reinvest it, because sometimes if we take it in our bank account, we don't necessarily see it and we use it just because it's there.
Right.
And at least you'd be able to benefit from the fruit of your labor investing. And also it's very encouraging. You can probably even use it to buy more of that same stock. The Jamaica Stock Exchange has what's called a dividend mandate, that you can have the dividends instead of coming to you by mailing, by check, you can have it being deposited to a bank account or even your brokerage account.
Got you. And Mr. Meredith, we're coming back to you to hear how your dividends been going and how you've been treating with it as well. But I can say that the stock might be, you know, the value of the stock might be trending down, but those dividends checks still come in. How does that work? Does the dividend check have anything to do with the value of the stock at any point?
No, not necessarily, because the stock is price of the stock is primarily based on the market and
Yes.
how the individuals may value it. I mean, it does have an impact on the overall value because a good dividend-paying stock persons would gravitate to it as
Right.
well. What I would say as well is that when you do get the dividends, well, yeah, there are two ways in order to benefit from the stock. So you have the dividend income and also price appreciation, meaning that the value of the stock being increasing time over time.
Yes.
And take advantage of that.
Yeah. And the next thing, and I'm giving Mr. Meredith enough time to, tell us about the dividends that he's, been receiving. But one of the things that we realize also is that there are some companies who pay out dividend on a much more frequent basis than others. Is that something you advise your clients? You would know the ones that does that, so that if that's something that they're looking out for, you can advise them. And maybe you could tell us what are some of those companies?
Right. So pretty much dividends, they don't necessarily have to pay dividends. It's really at the discretion of the directors.
Mm-hmm.
So companies that pay, I can say proven pays consistent dividends.
Okay. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Right. JMMB does pay consistent dividends, and a lot of other companies do. There is Signos as well. Carreras, they pay consistent. Carreras is actually a very good dividend-paying stock.
Gotcha. No problem. Mr. Meredith, dividends. How have you been treating yours? Have you gotten any from your portfolio just now? I won't ask you the value, but if you tell me how you treat with dividends once it hits your account.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Well, just like Sharice was saying, I used to have it go straight to my regular bank account where I do all my spending. And, sometimes I might get a little $200. I was like, yeah, this can buy a patty. So, because it going to the account where the spending going to it gets spent.
Yes.
But what I've done now is I've opened a separate account and updated my mandate for all the dividends only to just go to that account. So I can then have a check to see, what came in and how much I'm at. And then I can look at the market and then use those funds to buy additional stocks. Instead of it just going into my spending account and it just get lost in there.
Yeah. Excellent. And it comes back to the education, Sharice, helping persons to understand why you don't need to mix these monies that coming in as dividends with your regular spending things, because emergencies and things are always going to happen. There's always going to be the need. I know for me, my mom and dad call me every day for something. Yeah. So if it's in that account, then you might move it. But if you set up a separate one,
and it's easily accessible if it's in your primary, saving account or checking account. So keeping it a little far from you, you're less likely to touch it, and it gives you a little bit more discipline, because if you can easily have access to someone, you're like, all right, you know what, I want a nice lunch today, let me buy it.
Definitely.
And whatever. But if you don't have access, you're like, you know what, let me just work with the food I brought today.
Yeah. Well, I know I got telling a lie, Sharice. When the dividends from Trans Jamaica hit my account, I had to take a little piece and celebrate, but I put back the rest.
Yes, but it's also important to enjoy the fruit of your labor. You don't want to just be like hard and fast. Oh, I look into my future. You're still living now.
Yes.
So it's important to have that balance to ensure that you're enjoying where you are, but also investing in your future.
Definite. Mr. Meredith, before you go, anything that you would like to tell young persons who are listening? And we're going to come to some questions or comments that they might have on the different platforms. But your parting shot to young persons.
Just as soon as you can, just start. You don't have to wait on that lump sum. As Shari said, you can come to her. You can go to her institution, and they can get it going for you. So just start now. Don't wait on the lump sum, and just try to do it consistently and as best as you can. Long term always seems to work. Consistency,
long term, dedication. Yep. Those are some of the themes I hear coming out. Mr. Meredith, thank you so much for joining. It's been a real pleasure hearing from a young investor just to talk about the journey, how it's been going so far, and how you got started, so that young persons can realize that they too can also start their journey. And as Sheree said earlier, as little as $5,000, and you incrementally build up to where it is that you want to be.
consistency, getting in the habit of doing it, and
Yes.
the discipline to do it.
Definitely. Consistency, getting into the habit. It's just like riding a bicycle. You know, you fall
Just
off
keep
a couple.
going, just keep going.
Keep going. Definitely, definitely, definitely. We're going to throw to another video, and then when we come back, we will wrap things up here with this investment and youth forum. We're speaking with Ms. Sharice Pinnock from Proven Wealth, and you've heard from, of course, our Minister of State, the Honorable Robert Nesta Morgan, and also Mr. Kevin Powell from the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and you just heard from a young investor, Mr. Meredith. We throw to the video.
A unit trust is an unincorporated pooled fund invested in securities such as stocks, bonds, money market instruments, and other assets. Benefits of a unit trust include simplicity and transparency, high liquidity, and low initial investment amounts. Unit trusts are usually managed by a team of professionals who will provide you with access to investment information, analysis, and other tools. Additionally, an independent trustee acts as a custodian of the assets in the fund, hence providing a safety net for investors. If diversification, managed risk, smaller minimums, or professionally managed investment is what you seek, then a unit trust is a great option for you. I am Sharice Pinnock, and we are Proven.
The best time to buy a home is always 5 years ago. Real estate is considered one of the preferred long-term investment options worldwide. Benefits include passive income, such as earnings from rental properties, and appreciation. Properties in Jamaica have consistently held value and appreciated even during this volatile time. According to the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the construction sector grew by 12.6%. There are many barriers from capital or investment and regulations that prohibits the ease of entry to the real estate market. But don't be discouraged. You can always get a slice of the pie through Proven Wealth's Proven Real Estate Unit Trust Fund. Populations are growing and land is limited. The time to invest in real estate is now. I am Rachel Bravo, and we are Proven.
And welcome back, everyone. You've been tuned into this Investment and Youth Forum, where we just try to provide some more education so that you can make informed decision and you can actually know that you can make the first step. I was in my 30s when I started investment. You know, it's not for everybody at any point. You kind of have to make that journey and that leap when you're sufficiently ready. But the education around it is certainly something that's important. We're speaking with Ms. Sharice Pinnock from Proven Wealth. And Sharice, there's a question here. If someone is on a low income, would you recommend investing in stocks or unit trust?
Okay, well, I wouldn't say it's a one-size-fits-all solution because we still need to assess risk and also how the person also does feel about the investment. But off the bat, I would say primarily unit trust. It tends to be a lot more stable, and if somebody, it's everything that the person ever, like pretty much their life savings, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that they place all of it in stocks. We could do a mixture actually.
Okay. This question, I know you have the answer to it because it's about you. How does stockbrokers benefit from our investments?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, like any business, there are fees associated with the transactions. So on the purchasing of stocks, there is what is called a commission, which is a part of the overall breakdown in the fees being charged. So it's incorporated in everything. Also on the bond side, there might be a spread, which is an additional to the price that you're either buying or selling the bond. And some investments, the fees are already tied up in the value of the investment. So, yeah.
Okay. And I told you the questions were going to get tough towards the tail end. And
did.
these are the questions from the young persons who are viewing.
I'm here for it.
Exactly, exactly. This next question says, what would you say are the effects of the pandemic on investment?
Wow, that's a really good question. It really has impacted the markets, especially when the pandemic just started. The uncertainty, people just being very cautious and wanting to move to more safe investments, even just liquidating entire portfolios, just because because of the uncertainty in the grand scheme of things. But right now, things have been improving. In the grand scheme of things, we're still not free and clear. Because companies are still experiencing the impact of the pandemic. You may have heard now about the global supply chain issues.
Mhm.
So that has also been impacting businesses. But what I would recommend right now is just invest in the solid, tried and true businesses and be cautious. I know we might be strapped for cash, or we may want to make a quick buck, and we see different opportunities out there that gives us a lot of promises. But be very cautious, because we're not sure when we're going to get out of this.
Right.
So, stick to the fundamental basics. Have your advisor holding your hand, and also get your own information on
True.
it.
And the reality is that there are some stocks that in the pandemic are doing well.
Absolutely,
Because
yes.
even though we're in a pandemic, people have to eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing delivery services.
Yes.
I'd say for sure, Mailpack has been doing well.
Right.
And look for companies also that are evolving and strategizing and taking advantage of the opportunities. You don't necessarily want somebody that's going to be stagnant and like, it is what it is.
Right.
Like, okay, let us innovate
Yes.
and continue to build value for our customers and also our investors.
Definitely. Do you think investment should be taught in schools?
Absolutely. And financial literacy on a
General.
whole, just knowing how to manage your expenses. Because, you come out school and like this big, heavy responsibility of handling your own finances and, what not to do, what to do. Should I invest? Should I get insurance? What next? It's really important to get, and a lot of persons have to go out on their own to get that information. And unfortunately, it's not a conversation that we've been having much of, and I really want that to change.
I agree. And in schools, and a viewer actually asked about that. In school, I remember in my days, you used to go and give teacher money to put in your savings account.
Right, yes.
So that was the thing. But the savings account really not going with much, and maybe just an expansion of that. And I think that was helping us with habits to be able to think. But if we layer on that a little bit about investment
And knowing
and
what opportunities are out there.
exactly from those times, and I think would be really
Rewarding, yeah.
really rewarding. How easily are persons able to access funds from their investment, especially in cases of emergency?
Okay, so it varies from investment to investment, because some have different liquidation type time periods associated with it. So
Okay.
let's say for stocks, for example, given that we've been speaking mostly about stocks,
Yes.
stocks is T+2 settlement. So in short, that means if a stock is traded today, and like say it's sold today, 2 days after today, it's then available. So today's not Wednesday, Friday, the funds become available. However, depending on the situation, the emergency situation, there might be cases where your broker can be lenient with you and pretty much upfront the funds in expectation of what the funds should come in to be, because they would have a general idea of what you're expecting. So based on the relationship with the broker, you may be able to access that. It's not necessarily a general service, but we are humans and we understand life happens.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I just left university. The job that I have now is not paying me a whole lot. I still have to be paying back student loan. I have to, take care of mommy and so on from the salary that I have. So I don't have the 200,000 to start at Proven, but that's where I want to go. How would you suggest that I build up to be able to come to Proven?
So that would be a conversation, and I've had multiple conversations like that with potential clients. It's just, okay, all right, here's where we are, here's what we want to do, how can we get there? Do we need to come up with a saving plan that you can go ahead and on a monthly basis, you're going to put this aside till you get there? Or is it that you may look at another option so you can start right here, right now?
Definitely. And then the last of question, because it's the last question I see from the audience, is investment has always been seen as something for rich persons. What's your advice for the ministry, for other agencies and departments and organizations that are out there to get more young persons involved at the grassroots level? What are some of the ways that they may be able to do that?
A primary thing is information, access to information, and break that myth that you have to be wealthy to start. Seeing what options there are available and how much that you can really start with, and also showing the success stories. That's a really great encouragement to persons, and seeing how the market has performed, or even how persons have benefited from it. I actually started here, but through consistency, I'm able to get here. And we also expect that when you do start working, that's not your final salary for the rest of your life. So, wherever you are, just, take your time. Right. I don't encourage persons, just take your time. Do what you can where you are. And as you're able to build up, you can build that habit to when you get to, your ultimate income goal or whatever it may be, that you can actually do what you want. And what I always say as well is, if you're good with $10, you'll be good with 1,000. Don't expect that you get this lump sum of money and expect that, you're magically great at handling money. Nah. Yeah.
Definite. Thanks for that. And we know that there are places and spaces that persons can get information about investment, and we certainly want to encourage them to make sure that they are getting it from very credible places. Finance Twitter is a space that we see a lot of activities happening. Would you send young persons to check out or look on what's on that space? Is that somewhere that they could get some information from?
I wouldn't say I'd recommend someone to go there, because I myself have seen the information and it's really good for the most part.
Right.
Because I can't attest to the content, and because different persons are also adding to that. In good business practices, I don't think that would be the wisest decision for me to do. However, if it's a case that a client has seen something on Finance Twitter, we can have a discussion about it, and then we can make an informed decision from there.
Excellent. I think that's a very good strategy. So jump on to these other places and get information. Don't hold on to them as gospel, and then talk to an advisor to see how best these things align. We're coming to the end, and I certainly have to thank our viewers on Facebook and also on YouTube for sending those questions in. And Cherise, before you go, are there any questions, any comments? No questions, because I don't want you asking me tough questions. Are there any comments that you want to make as we roll on out of here, and any advice for our young people that's listening?
So what I would say as well is, as it relates to resources, Proven Wealth, or YouTube channel, we do short videos that help to just educate the wider public as the opportunities that we do have available, and just general investment knowledge. And the best advice I can give is just start. Don't worry about it. Don't try to overthink it. I need this amount of money to start. No, just start with where you are, and you'll be just fine. Consistency, discipline is key.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Ms. Cherise Pinnock, for sharing the last hour with us. Cherise is from Proven Wealth, and this has really proven to be a wealthy discussion that we've had in the last hour. We thank you so much, Cherise, for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
The persons can get in touch with you or Proven how?
All right, so we have 3 locations in Jamaica. So we're in Kingston, 7 Haining Road. We're in Montego Bay and also Manchester. Our number is 908-3800.
You want to just repeat that slowly for us so that we get them?
Sure. So that's 908-3800.
Definitely. So we thank you so much, Cherise, for coming and sharing that with us. I'm sure after this you'll have a number of young persons who want to get more information, want to learn some more about, just investing. And even if they don't ready to start yet, I think the information is certainly going to be valuable. Definitely. Thank you so very much. We certainly have to say thanks also to the team at the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. A very hard-working team who are behind the scenes doing a mammoth task in terms of making sure that these things come to our young persons. And they come to our young persons in a way that they can understand it, in a way that they can take action after these discussions. Want to say again, big thank you to all the sponsors and partners that helped to make this all possible. The Ministry of Gender, Culture, Entertainment and Sports, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, HEART, PATH, Proven, the DIA Lab, and the Institute of Law and Economics. Certainly hope you found this discussion to be a useful one, and you will go to the pages of the Ministry of Youth Jamaica in terms of finding out what are some of the upcoming activities. Number of exciting activities. On the 18th and the 19th, there's a youth summit. You don't want to miss that engagement as well. Go on to the spaces, send the information so that you can be involved and included in the activities that are coming up for the remainder of this month. I'm Dwayne Gutzmer. It has been my absolute pleasure sharing with you. Take care and good evening.
The risks associated with the Delta variant continue to present a challenging backdrop, adding another layer of uncertainty to the outlook on global markets. The context and conditions around this variant outbreak is significantly different than the original COVID-19 outbreak, which suggests that financial markets could continue to fare better compared to the March 2020 freefall. Ongoing fears of additional strains, rising cases, vaccine availability, renewed lockdowns, and supply disruptions are expected to cause bouts of volatility in the near to medium term. Despite this, investors must remain nimble and focused on seeking opportunities, clear and opaque, as the greatest risk an investor can take in the current market is to do nothing at all. I am Jade Amiel, and we are Proven.
Want to see more inclusivity, youth from all walks of Jamaica engaging in virtual activities aimed at enhancing their purpose. Moreover, when I think of the word evolve, I think of metamorphosing, emerging from one stage to another while fulfilling your dream. This can be done by looking towards a certain passion or even fulfilling a certain goal. We can evolve.
Hello, Jamaica. My name is Siobhan Smith. I'm the General Secretary of the Jamaica Prefects Association. The Jamaica Prefects Association, or otherwise called the JPA, is a national governing body that represents prefects, including head students of secondary schools in Jamaica. We aim to have prefects understand their roles as well as foster exemplary leadership qualities while tending to their needs and concerns. This year's Youth Month's theme is Evolve, which simply means to gradually improve and become better. I implore you all to grow and evolve in your own right and shine in your own light. Happy Youth Month, Jamaica. Stay safe.
Growing up, we would have been told that the only thing in life that is constant is change. And for that reason, I am particularly impressed that the theme for this month is Evolve. If we are to cope with the realities that we're now facing, we must evolve.
My name is Nevada Green. I'm a part of the National Youth Council of Jamaica. The NYCJ is the umbrella organization for all youth clubs across Jamaica, which seeks to promote youth participation in all community levels and advocate for youth participation in all levels of governance. We here at the NYCJ will be doing for our Youth Month our annual general meeting, which involves all community-based organizations and all parish executives, where we come together with our problems and find solutions for them. What we want for this Youth Month is for us all to evolve. We are called to evolve this Youth Month regardless of what challenges the COVID-19 pandemic presents us with. So we're going to press through to ensure that all youth voices are heard this month.
Hello, youths of Jamaica. I am Orville Levy, co-chairperson of the Youth Advisory Council of Jamaica. Youth Month theme 2021, Evolve. One word with such powerful roots that if we water it, it can blossom our collective futures. As a council, we have been working to mainstream youth issues into youth policies and ensuring every youth has a voice through our youth parliamentarians. We are at a pivotal time in our lives. This is your opportunity. Take the moment. Your evolution begins today.
We're asking young people for Youth Month 2021, you need to participate. Come and show us your evolved thinking, your revolutionary ideas, and your innovative action. Let us demonstrate to the rest of the country that Jamaica's youth are evolved and can make Jamaica better than what it was before COVID. Young people of Jamaica, let us evolve.